Dude, this one cost us $7 million.
Yeah, that's what the point is.
$7 million, and I had no income. Dude, I had to stand in front of 100 and some people at that point in my cafeteria and let them all go at once.
All right, so I am super pumped. I'm here with Eric Cline, the phone sale guy, wholesaling all over the country.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to hear about your journey, your story, especially your story.
Yeah.
And so I just want to start right there. You've got a really fascinating story. You want to talk about where you came from and where you're currently at?
Of course, man. One, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
First time in Kansas City.
I'm just, dude, if you guys don't know, Eric's a class act. He flew out here on his own, didn't ask me for anything. He said, I want to come live.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that's somebody who is a classy guy, wants to be here.
Yeah. I like shaking hands and I like looking at people in their eyes. Honestly.
Yeah, me too.
The conversation's way better.
Way better.
Yeah. So appreciate you having me out here. The rain sucks, but
just stay another 7 hours. It changes.
So man, I can go all the way back to like the trouble. The trouble I used to get in, because the guy sitting here today is not the guy that was around 14 years ago.
Yeah, so 14 years ago, you were a different guy. How old are you right now?
I just turned 43 years old.
Welcome to the club. Well, I'm 46.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a couple years on me. Bro.
Yeah, that's right.
But from 13 to 28 years old, like I heavily abused drugs and alcohol.
What was your go-to?
So the one that brought me to my knees was crack cocaine.
Okay, what brought me to my knees was booze. So I haven't drank in 17 years.
Love it, dude.
Yeah, so that's why I was really excited to talk to you, because I know the struggle.
Yeah.
And like, you're a tough motherfucker, because people who don't know, when he says brought him to his knees, like it takes I was weak. I mean, I went out quick. The booze, I knew it had me. And so when you tried a lot of different stuff, it just couldn't take you out.
Dude, at the end, like I'll spare everybody where I started and where it ultimately ended. At 28 years old, I was renting a room from a cop in Chicago.
Okay.
I was a union carpenter. I was blackballed from every job site.
Okay.
I was a massive liability.
Yeah.
And the last job that I got blackballed from, I was up for like 3 or 4 days, no sleep, smoking crack, doing ecstasy. And I was on the job. In my role in the job, we would build high rises downtown Chicago.
So you're on a high rise?
I was building high rises. Yeah. And you would wear your harness. You had to have a retractable hooked up.
High as a kite.
We were 25 stories up.
Okay.
And I had my harness on, but I didn't have it clipped. And I had my retractable, it wasn't, if I would have fallen, I would have fallen through my harness because I didn't have my leg straps on.
Right.
25 floors up on the side of the building. And my superintendent came up and he was like, Eric, he was like, what are you doing? And I looked up at him. And again, I hadn't been sleeping for days. Yeah. And I thought it was okay for me to reach into my third pocket, bust out a bag of ecstasy, break a pill in half, and ask my superintendent if he wanted half of it. And he looked at me and he goes, you get your ass up here right now. So I got up and I remember, dude, he was disappointed because he looked at me in the eyes and he goes, dude, you need to go get some serious help. Yeah. He was like, you're the best thing I have on this job.
Yeah, because it sounds like you're functional.
Dude, I've always had, people have always saw like a ton of talent in me. Yeah. I just didn't see it in myself.
Right. Self-sabotage.
Bad, dude. Yeah. Like so bad. I burnt at this point, like all my family members disowned me. Not because they didn't love me. They literally couldn't. They couldn't handle me. I was getting locked up. I got my license at 18, lost it at 22. I had 4 DUIs, 5 driving on suspendeds. Like I was a wreck, dude.
Yeah, you're an entrepreneur.
Yes. And when he let me go, it was the last job I was allowed on. Yeah. And I was finally blackballed.
So you're 28.
I was 28 years old.
I believe that's when I got sober.
Was it?
Yeah. I'm 17 years. I'm 46. I believe it was right. Yeah.
Well,
2007.
I'll be 15 years in August, clean and sober.
Yeah. So I'm sober, not clean. I still do a little bit of weed here and there,
dude.
but yeah, like the booze was the thing that just crushed me.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Well, the crack.
So
got me.
you're in NA.
I don't do any meetings anymore.
Okay.
Like
My wife is hardcore NA.
Got
She
it.
hasn't done anything. She was everything just like you. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested in that too, just on a personal, because I didn't do meetings. Like initially I needed that.
I needed it.
Did you need it too?
In the beginning, I needed it. It was a must for me.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you the last 8 days for me.
Okay.
And so I was when he let me go, I was unemployable at that time because I was a union carpenter.
Right.
And I manipulated my some paperwork for my annuity to give me $3,500. So I went back home. They sent me a check. I had $3,500. I went to a check cashing store because I didn't even have bank accounts.
Yeah.
I went and cashed it, and then I went back to a room I was renting. He rented the other rooms to college students.
This was a police officer?
Police officer's house
Okay.
that rented rooms to college students.
Yeah.
They were all gone for the summer.
Yeah.
So it was me in this house by myself.
Yeah.
And the dope man was coming to the back door like clockwork. He knew when I needed it.
And what was your drug?
Crack.
Crack.
So
what is crack? Crack is cocaine with baking soda,
Yeah,
right?
cooked, and you smoke it.
And what does it do to you?
I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
I'm about to tell you.
Good transition. Let's
Yeah,
go.
I'm about to tell you. So now is not a time to start trying this stuff, everybody.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it. When I would get jacked up, when I'd get effed up, right?
Yeah.
I was out of my mind.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sleep. It'd keep me up for days. And I start hearing and seeing shit.
Oh, wow.
When, I was sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And the dope man would come to the back door, and I got so paranoid that all my light, because you had to light it, right? And at this time, I broke my crack pipe, and then I looked for a socket that you unloosen bolts with.
Yeah.
So I took a socket. I started stripping plug-in cords. I stripped one of these, got the inside of it, stuffed the socket, and I put the crack on it. But I'd have to go out to the stove and light it off a flame.
Okay.
Well, I would have to get so close to the stove, I was burning my face.
Oh, wow.
So by the time I was done, dude, I had no eyebrows, no eyelashes, golf ball, baseball sized blisters on both sides of my face.
Wow.
Because I was going, I'd give one side a break, and I'd get close to the fire, and I'd burn my face just to get high.
Wow.
And I remember the very last day, dude, I was down to $8, and the dope man wouldn't give me any more dope. And
Why doesn't the dope man give you any more dope? Because of the money?
I'm out of money.
So he's gone.
He's done. But dude, at this point, 8 days. I'm up 8 days. I hear helicopters swarming the house.
Yeah.
I hear them above. I can hear the propellers.
Yeah.
Cops, ambulance lining the streets. They kick the front door open.
You can hear them.
All of this,
Oh,
dude.
they're actually there.
Dogs
I thought this is the paranoia setting
Dogs
in.
barking. And then I hear everyone come down the hallway, and I'm in the room now mind you, I'm pissing in the corner of this room because I'm so paranoid to go out across the hallway and use the restroom.
Yeah.
Like I am locked in a room.
Yeah.
And I remember them bringing everything down the hallway. I hear the stretcher, ambulance, all the commotion. My mom's out there crying hysterically.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, leave him alone. He's dead. Just leave him be. He's dead. He's dead. And my older brother, which he had rescued me from another house one time and got me out of it. But dude, I was getting clean for everybody but myself when I tried getting clean.
Yeah.
And so my brother was out there just wrestling with the cops and shit. And finally they got everybody calmed down. And I'm in this room under the sheets, middle of the day, mind you. It's blazing hot. I'm sweating my ass off. And they get everybody back, and they said, on 3, we're going to go in and revive him. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, fuck. They say 1, 2. I jump out of bed. I open the door, and I'm like, fuck, I'm alive. And dude, I was standing in a hallway by myself. No one was there. So I used to say when I would tell this story.
I got there, man.
Dude, it was that day, August 9th, 2009.
Okay.
Is when that happened.
Nice.
And I used to say when I would tell this story, I hallucinated everything.
Yeah.
But it was far from a hallucination.
Tell me about that.
It was a power greater than myself.
Right.
That opened my eyes, and he was like, dude, you either keep doing this and this is a real life scenario for you, or you get your shit together and you just start living.
Yeah, it's kind of, I would say not as chaotic as my story, but when you talk about bringing it to your knees, what I remember, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit on mine because I want you to continue, but like, it was kind of very similar. Like, so I was a realtor, but I was not successful in Vegas, but I was still a drunk.
Got it.
And I was a drunk before I was a realtor.
Yeah.
And I was successful as a drunk. And so I go to get my realtor's license renewed. I had moved back to Vegas because I ran out of money and I was drinking still. And so I had sobered up for a couple months. And then I went and I kind of just fell back in the old routine. And I ended up going back to Vegas to get my license reinstated. Well, I ended up going on a bender.
Yep. For
like 3 days. And I ended up convincing the real estate company and the people to sign me in. I'm sure you know how to do it. Yeah. Anyways, I got back home. I got drunk the whole way. I convinced they weren't serving drinks. I convinced the stewardess to serve me booze just because I was charming when I was drinking.
Yeah.
I got in picked up my car from the rental car company. Well, my parents didn't even know. Nobody knew that I was besides my buddies, they knew I was a real big drunk. But what happened was, the first thing I do coming back from Vegas is I'm living in Washington State for like 10 months. I pull back into the bar that I had been very successful with the ladies at and where I'm getting my ego from at that time.
Of course.
And I remember leaving. I called my sister. I never called anybody drunk. But I'm sitting next to some guy doing tequila shots at the bar. And he's like, oh, I work with your sister. I'm like, let's call her. And she is concerned. Like, what? Are you okay? What's wrong? I never called anybody drunk on the phone. I was didn't text, didn't call, kept it to myself. And then so Eric, anyways, I'm trying to leave the bar. Another guy who I used to drink with, who's a drunk, looks at me. He's like, you shouldn't be driving. And I listened to him because I do think he got drunk a lot.
Yeah.
So finally I get home and the guy who I'm living with, who wasn't a real friend, but I was living with him.
Yeah.
And he records me that night. It's like a David Hasselhoff moment. If you remember David Hasselhoff eating the cheeseburger.
Yeah.
So, and that night, so that morning I saw that video of me and I really made a determination that was the end of it, right? But what was more important than that is that night I was with 2 roommates, but I felt the most alone and like in fear of my life for myself. I said, I have never prayed to God. I said, if you get me through tonight, I make a promise to you. That's what I'm in by bringing to my knees. That's what was my moment. I said, I make a promise to myself that I'll never touch alcohol again.
That was 17 years ago?
That was 17 years ago.
Congrats, bro.
Yeah. So what was that the reason I wanted to share that with you is what was that conversation that you had with yourself and with God that brought that cleared the moment? Because it wasn't the people coming in.
No.
It wasn't your mom reviving you. It was all this stuff in your head.
Yeah, it was just so clear.
Yeah.
It was so clear. Like when I tell you everything I just said right there, I heard it all. I heard the voices. I heard it couldn't have been any clearer for me.
Yeah.
That I was close to death. I mean, dude, at this point I am 135 pounds.
I was going to ask your weight. Were you like a total crackhead?
Dude, I was bad. Like, I didn't get to the point I was homeless, but my next step was homeless.
Yeah.
You know, because my mom wasn't letting me in. Thank God for my mom. She showed me like the toughest love you could show somebody.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because she didn't love me. She loved me, but like she showed me tough love.
Yeah.
Like real tough love. And I needed that shit. But for me, like, I truly didn't want to die. Mm-hmm. And what I saw and heard that day was me dying.
So what was the next steps?
I had $8. I walk when I'm in the hallway and I see no one there, it was the aha moment for me. It really was.
Yeah.
Like people always ask me how did you get clean? Dude, I hit my bottom.
Yeah.
Like I saw death.
Everybody's bottom's different.
Everyone's bottom's different, man. And there was a pint of vodka sitting out on the table in the kitchen because I didn't have the courage to go outside.
Yeah.
So I took this little thing of vodka, poured it in this Gatorade bottle, and I slammed it, which gave me enough courage to walk to the train station. I got on a train, had $8, and I went back to my hometown, Rockford, Illinois. And my aunt and another guy that I used to smoke crack with at that point had 3 years clean. He let me into his home for 28 days to keep me clean. And in that 28 days, there were many, many days where I was on my hands and knees in the shower, bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get high so bad.
Yeah.
And it was the first time where...
Was it you wanted to get higher or the withdrawal is terrible?
Dude, crack is mental.
Okay.
It's not physical.
Right.
It was mental withdrawals.
Yeah.
Like you don't feel when you're coming off crack, it's not like you got the shakes or the shits or anything like that.
No, it's not. There's no
mental.
Right.
And I was smoking it for 6 years pretty heavily.
What's pretty heavily?
Every chance I could get.
Is that every day?
Yes.
Okay.
I was smoking crack I say not every day because I'd get a check on Thursday and it'd be gone by Sunday. I would smoke.
Yeah, you burned through it.
Yeah, I wasn't even living paycheck to paycheck. I would, because my check was gone within 3 days and I was mooching and, stealing on job sites. I was taking guys' lunches and shit. Like I was that dude.
Yeah, man.
It sucked.
Well, I mean, I think the best thing to hear from that story is where we're about ready to go right now. Because I think that one thing that I know you realize is that when you're suffering with this type of thing, you feel alone.
Bad.
And that was a thing for me. I had 3 people, myself and 2 other guys that were in the room that night, and I felt more alone than I had ever felt in my life. And I said, man, and those conversations had happened before, like I should probably not drink anymore. I'm sure you had those conversations.
Of course, I tried for years.
Yeah, and then it just took enough where it was like, and then for me, the minute I quit drinking, success took. It was like, holy crap.
It was nuts.
Was that what happened to you? So tell me about what were the next steps? So you got with your friends, they helped you get clean.
They put me on a plane, flew me down to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
I had 60 days left on my insurance through the annuity.
Okay.
And that got me into a treatment center down in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And Fort Lauderdale or Florida, there's no unions.
Okay.
Right. And I was a union carpenter. So in my head, when I went down to Fort Lauderdale and checked myself into treatment, I was going to go down there, get clean, come back to Chicago.
Right.
Right. That's the way Eric planned this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I go down there, get into treatment, and I'm in treatment for 60 days. And I'm starting to gain my weight back. I'm going to NA meetings. And like, I was a gun-ho NA guy.
Yeah.
Like in treatment, they'd put us on the white buses and bring us to
You're all or nothing.
Yeah. All or nothing. And like, I was the guy that wasn't talking to girls. And like, I was writing in my book and journaling and all that
12
stuff.
steps, did them in a week.
Everything, dude. Everything.
Yeah.
And when I got right before I was getting ready to get out of treatment, they were like, hey, we think you should go to a halfway house. I was like, all right. That's when I first started taking suggestions from people that were doing things that I hadn't done before.
Right.
And I still do that today in business.
You were getting mentors.
Yes, 100%. Guys say, hey, you should go to a halfway house. I went to a halfway house. I stayed in a halfway house for 6 months. And when there was a piece of paper, my first job out of treatment was a busboy. Like there's a story behind it, not a big deal. Worked at a restaurant for 2 weeks because I literally couldn't find a job. Like all the tattoos you see, I had a lot of them when I got clean.
Yeah.
So nobody would employ me.
Right.
And I was stuck being a busboy.
Did you have a criminal record?
I did not have a criminal record. Yeah. DUIs and stuff like that, but I didn't have a criminal record. And I ended up getting a busboy job, 2 weeks working there. They handed me a check for $146. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. 28 years old, worked for 2 weeks. I just made, it wasn't even enough to pay my bed rent at the halfway house.
Yeah.
So my now wife, which was my girlfriend at the time, she drops me off at my halfway house. There was a piece of paper.
Where'd you meet her?
Dude, 3 days before I got out of treatment, she walks in the NA meeting that I'm in. And there was like this glow about her. Shit you not. I thought she was a lesbian when I first met her. I called her the wrong fucking name.
Yeah.
Like all this shit. I was a train wreck.
Well, you're just getting your marbles going.
She had 4.5 years clean, which she 13-stepped me because you're not supposed to go get the newcomer. Yeah. And dude, she picked me up the day I walked out of treatment, and we've been together ever since.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I think it's important to surround it's hard, like for people who I know who are like using or like still in like some sort of thing to try to get into a relationship. They're usually going to end up with a drunk or a user, and you can't stay clean that way. And dude,
we're not, she just celebrated 18 or 19. Well, I'm coming up on 15. She'll be almost 19 years here.
Yeah.
And dude, we're partners in crime, man. We're business partners. We're life partners. We're, husband, wife, everything. And it's worked out. And we've been through some shit together, man.
Well, yeah, you started with it, right?
Yeah,
like she saw you at your worst.
My lowest, living in a halfway house. She was with me 6 months while, literally the day I walked out, we went on our first date.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so after getting that check, this piece of paper hanging on the door, it said telemarketers wanted $15 an hour. That was my step into a call center.
That's where we need to market for telemarketers.
Dude.
Yeah, I've had a lot of telemarketing centers.
Yeah.
That's a great place.
And I jumped into this company as an appointment setter, became their #1 closer.
And what are you setting appointments for?
So it was a company in South Florida that test piloted campaigns and then started companies off of it.
Okay.
So I did ADT home alarm system, auto warranties, credit repair, debt consolidation, like all these different campaigns.
Now, are you studying how to be a good telemarketer, or is this already ingrained because you just knew how to like cajole and you know what I mean? Like you already knew you had a good mouthpiece already as a, you know what I mean?
I don't know, man. Cause when I got into the call center, I had the worst phone fear. I was full of anxiety. I had low self-esteem. Like I wasn't good at sales. Like I was probably this was a call center with 200-300 people.
Okay, gotcha.
So I was surrounded by absolute killers. Yeah, some, down in South Florida, it's a sunny place for shady people. And but there's some people that have some mouthpieces.
I lived in a place like that, Las Vegas.
Yeah. And I was just around so many guys and women that had so much talent.
Yes.
But they didn't have a good work ethic.
Okay, and your work ethic?
Dude, I was hungry.
Yes.
Like when I say I was broken hungry, I was broken hungry.
Well, if you're popping ecstasy on a freaking 25-story building and still going to work, you got a pretty good work ethic, whether or not you're being a little bit crazy.
Of course. Yeah.
So you had the work ethic.
Yeah, man. I was starting from the bottom. And when I walked,
so this is 2009-ish?
2009. Yeah.
Okay.
I walk into this call center. I see people that look like me, walk like me. Some of them were talking like me. They had tattoos, and a shit ton of them were in recovery. Like they hired from recovery places.
Yeah, they're marketing there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I saw for the first time, I'm like, man, I could do something with this.
Okay.
They had to put a lot of work into me though.
Okay.
Like I did not jump on the phones and I had like the gift of gab. I did not have that.
Yeah.
Like I had to put a lot of work into it. They were real strict on scripts and process. That's where I learned a lot of this shit. People are like, who mentored you when it comes to sales? It was the call centers I worked in.
Yeah.
In South Florida. Like I was around, I would take something from you. I'd take something from her.
Yeah.
And I've morphed it into my own.
That's what you do.
Process.
Yeah, I did we worked at Intercom Sales in Seattle, Washington, which was same type of deal.
Yeah.
You build your own book of business. You don't have anything. And you watch what everybody's doing right.
Yep.
Which is not much.
Right.
And then you watch all the guys that are just falling on their faces. And then you kind of get your own. I did. Yeah. So tell me about that. So
for a year and a half, went from appointment setter to closer. And when I say I was the hungriest one there, I outworked every single person in that building, including the owner. I was the first one to show up. I would wait every morning for someone to open the door for me. And then at nighttime, they would shut the lights off and say, Eric, we got to go. So when I say...
You got something to prove. You wanted it bad.
Yeah, man. Not only to me, but like My mom was skeptical whether or not I was really doing the damn thing still. Like my family members were wondering.
Where's dad at in this situation?
Man, my dad was a drinking buddy and an abusive dad. Like there was days where I couldn't go to school because I had 2 swollen eyes.
Really?
Yeah, like swollen because my dad closed fist punched me and all that shit. My mother has since remarried. You know, I wish my dad the best, but he's just not somebody I want in my life.
And that's a tough thing to do. Like people talk about this in entrepreneurship all the time, but just because you were born by somebody or want something, it doesn't mean that that's going to get you to where you want to go.
No. He showed me everything I don't want to be as a father. And I treat my kids and my son like, you know, I didn't grow up in a household where we hugged and kissed and stuff like that. I love you wasn't a word that was thrown around a lot. Today, like, man, I shower. My daughter, my wife had from a previous relationship. I adopted her. So it'd be a little weird for me to kiss her and shit like that.
Yeah.
But like my biological son, like, dude, he's my baby, dude. I show him so much love. And
he's your training partner from what I could tell.
Dude.
Right?
We are on a mission right now, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to, that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about.
Mission.
So let's talk about that.
So, do you have kids?
I do.
Okay. Your own flesh and blood, man. You want, and my daughter, I want nothing but the best for them.
Right.
Right. And I will protect them with everything.
Yeah.
And when you have a son you love to death and his weight is out of control, that's a very hard conversation to have with your son.
It totally is.
And for years I've been telling him he's got a shit ton of muscles. You're strong, buddy. You're strong. You got more muscles than anybody. And I've been lying to him for years.
Okay.
And it was, it's gotten to the point where he weighed more than I did.
Okay.
I've never weighed over 200 pounds. My son got to 208 pounds. He's 11 years old.
Yeah.
And I was seeing in his day to day where he would go to tie a shoe and he'd come up, you know, he couldn't breathe. And the way when he would sit, he was constantly pulling his shirt. And I'm like, this is not okay. Like I have to. And it was crazy because we were actually out. I went to a Andy Elliott.
Yeah, I've seen the shirts.
Yeah,
so I like.
Dude, I bought my 11-year-old son a VIP ticket. I paid $4,000 or $5,000 for my son to sit front row with me. And there was a workout the night before the event, and I was out there running, you know, with Kai, and me and him were arguing because, you know, a 208-pound kid. We're out there running. Everyone's getting at it. And I just want the best for him. And usually when I try doing that, it's friction between him and I.
Yeah.
Andy Elliott saw the friction.
Yeah.
And he pulled me aside and he's like, dude, I want to talk to your son. And I'm like, dude, I'd love that, you know? And he goes, he can't relate to you. You've never been fat. You couldn't prove to your son you were heavy and you lost a ton of weight. He goes, I can show him some pictures when I was 11 years old and I looked just like him. And he goes, I got dumped by a girl and I was sad. And I said, that would never happen to me again. He goes, let me sit with your son and have a talk with him.
That gave me goosebumps. That's
Bro.
because I think Andy, I don't know him personally. We've talked on, you know, about coming on the podcast and stuff like that, but I know he gets a lot of hate. And
Dude.
and it's good to hear. Because I saw somebody like do something the other day where they were talking about that he tries to emasculate people and make them feel bad. And I'm like, I see that he's just trying to share like that. Be your best.
Be your best, dude. I have a whole nother level of respect for this dude.
Yeah.
When I
he
say
he took an effort and an interest in your son.
dude, on a whole nother level, bro.
Right.
Like he had the talk with my son. This was probably a month ago. Dude, every single day, he asked for my son's name is Kai. He goes, let me get Kai's phone number. Dude, Andy has been texting my son every single day for a month.
Wow. And I see he's wearing the shirt, so I knew.
And you know, I look at it and in my head, I'm like, man, it took another man to get my son to do this.
But who brought him there?
I did.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you knew whatever it was, that was exactly what he needed.
100%.
You didn't know how it was going to transpire, but you didn't bring him there to help you in business.
No.
You brought him there
Yeah.
for a transformation.
And it has me and Kai so connected right now, dude. We're in the gym getting it. He's got this goal. He doesn't dude, he's willingly going to the gym. And he's on to something here, man. And I'm forever grateful that Andy Elliott did that for my son, because he did something I couldn't do. And that just shows the power of your circle.
Right.
I don't give a shit what anybody says about Andy, because people could bring up my past or say some shit about me.
Everybody's got a past.
But dude, until you can sit with another man, that's why I like coming and doing things in person.
Yeah.
Because I want to have my own judgment on somebody.
Yeah.
And he said, we were just out there last week, and he was like, make sure Kai comes with you. Bro, he had like 12 shirts custom made for him. He gave him his dog tag that he's been wearing. And, he even said, he was like, dude, he posted something about my son on his social media, and it got over 5 million views. And he's told my son, he was like, you will be my biggest transformation I've ever done.
I love that.
And dude,
I love that, and now he's got all this good attention.
Yeah, bro.
Like good attention on him trying to change his life versus like probably negative attention that he's had before. Like, you're fat, you're this. And listen, every little boy, like I wasn't a skinny boy. You get these little boobs, and you start getting insecure. You're wearing your shirt in the wall. I mean, everybody knows what that feels like. And so, especially the kids who are even putting on the more and more weight, it just, it really beats them up. And today, it's so hard to make healthy choices for your kids.
Yeah.
Like, if the decks are stacked.
Shit everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let's go here. Let's go there.
Yeah.
Like, even my kids, I can see, like, I tell my wife, you gotta, she's like the best example. I'm like, listen to your mom. Don't listen to dad on the food thing. So that's really, really cool, man.
Yeah, it's been a blessing, man. It's been super, super cool. Him and I are getting super, super close right now through this journey, which is amazing. And it's sparked a whole nother fire within my family. Yeah.
It's just everything is coming together.
It's man.
It's because it's one of those things where it's like, for you felt like you were not doing something right.
Yeah, man. There was a part of me that felt like I was failing. Yeah. And we knew it. We knew it as parents.
Yeah.
And again, when it's the relationship is something that you love more than anything on planet Earth, literally, for me, it's a love I've never felt before. And to have that conversation with him, I've worded it in so many different ways, but I could never tell my son, look him in the eyes and say, buddy, you have a weight problem. And we have to correct this before it gets more out of control. I couldn't say that to him. Those words couldn't come out of my mouth. And it's been a blessing, man, because, me and my wife are in a good spot right now. My family's in a good spot. Me and my wife went through hell with our first business, trying to do an exit on it.
What was that? What was the first business that you guys did? So, like, going from the call center, like building your confidence there, what was the next step after the call center? So obviously you crushed it, you killed it there.
Yeah. After I was there a year and a half, I realized like my time there was up.
Yeah.
And when you feel you care about the business more than the owner does, and I truly felt that way.
Yeah.
I'm like, I believe I care about this place more than he does. And I saw everything that like you said earlier, I saw everything that he did that I liked, but there were so many things I didn't like that he was doing.
Right.
And I told my wife, I'm like, hey, someone brought me this idea where we can get people out of timeshares. It was a timeshare cancellation company.
Yeah, no, there's lots of those companies.
Well, for 10 years, I owned the largest one in the United States.
Nice.
Started it from a bedroom. Me and my wife, stack of leads, 2 cordless phones. She was my appointment setter, and I was the closer. Dude, we just started ripping through paper leads.
All right, so this is our viral TikTok right here. How do we get out of a timeshare? Because you know exactly how to get out of a timeshare.
Yeah, part of my settlement is I'm not allowed to help a single person out of a timeshare ever again.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I was that good at getting people out of them.
Yeah, there's a way to get people out of them if you're good at that technique.
Yeah, well, there's a website now because we created such a large industry. There's a website now. It's called responsibleexit.com, where you can go on there and the resorts will work with you on letting you out of their timeshare. But prior to that website, we were signing up 650 people a month.
650. Okay, so break that business model down. I mean, it doesn't just start with 650. You work your way up to that.
Yeah,
so how'd you guys decide that this is the business that we're gonna get in?
Literally, I knew a guy that knew a guy that knew a guy.
Okay,
and
so you knew somebody was already doing it.
Knew a guy that was doing it, but he was doing it where he would get a bunch of people in a hotel conference room, pitch them from a podium, and then they'd break out into tables.
Yeah.
So I was like, if they can do that in person, I can do it over the phone.
Right.
Again, right? Because again, my appearance in the beginning, I thought people would judge me. That's why I got.
Is that something that it weighs on you right now, or you
not anymore?
But in the beginning, because now with the tattoos and stuff like that, it's kind of in now.
It's in. My confidence in who I was back then is not what it is today.
Are those some of those tattoos? Do you have regrets about them?
I was getting ready to get some of them removed for my last business when we were getting ready to exit.
Yeah.
And my wife was pissed that I was going to remove any of them. So
part of your story.
I had one laser session and she's like, dude, you ain't removing that shit. You're keeping all that on you. So
she likes you the way you are.
Yeah. Yeah. But the way we started the business, it was literally in a bedroom, me and my wife, a stack of leads.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to get someone out of a timeshare, but I had some skills behind the phones.
You knew how to cajole, how to persuade.
I knew how to do all that.
Yes.
Yes. And if you know anything about timeshares, if you own one, you didn't go buy it. You were sold a timeshare.
For sure.
Right?
You got a free dinner.
There you go.
You got a free show.
But I need 90 minutes of your time.
I just need 90 minutes of your time. And then it's the old, we're not letting you go.
That's it. They lock the doors, take the keys, and they pressure you into a timeshare.
Right.
So I knew that much about the product. Right. So I'm like, all right, I can get someone out of these. At least I can talk them out of it. So we stack a leads.
I like that. I don't know if I legally can get you out,
but
my mouthpiece is that good that I can get them to do that. I look at my sales skills the same way. So,
and I knew there were other people out there doing it.
Yeah.
So in my head, let me get contract signed and I'll just go to you and say, hey, I was JV in contracts.
Yeah.
The same way
Okay, so first business model is I'll just sell the people that I can get you out, and then I'll find somebody who can get you out.
I'll go find somebody.
Yeah, gotcha.
And how much do you want for it? Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
I worked like that for a year.
Okay.
And we went from a bedroom to an office. My wife...
And you're learning what they're doing.
My wife was working with them hand in hand.
Learning what they're doing.
All the documents, what are they saying? How are they actually facilitating it? How are they getting them out? Everything.
Right.
And after about it was probably a year and a half, we ended up taking everything in-house.
Okay.
And then
so it's you and her still, but now you guys are, you know how to get it done.
We know how to get it done now.
Okay.
And then that's when I started building the team. And we went from me and my wife in a bedroom to a office in Fort Lauderdale with over 150 people in it. I had over 100 guys and girls in my sales pit. We were cranking from 9 in the morning until 1 o'clock in the morning, 6 days a week. Can we break down the profit model? Yeah. So my marketing was all inbound after me and my wife started making some money. We didn't do any outbound.
Okay. So inbound, you're running ads.
I was running ads.
Where are you running them at?
Google.
Okay.
Facebook.
Okay.
And radio. We would get endorsements.
I remember the radio ads.
We were heavy in radio. We had Laura Ingraham. We had Rush Limbaugh. I had Howard Stern.
Smart. All talk radio. Yes. All endorsements.
All endorsements.
And how well do endorsements work?
They work really well.
They're the best.
Yeah, we were at the peak. We were spending about $500,000 a month in marketing.
Holy shit!
And we would gross $3 million every month.
And this is what year?
Dude, I was ripping from 2012 to 2020.
And 3 years ago, you had fake helicopters and ambulance coming into your house.
Yeah, dude, it was
and now
nuts.
You've got a 100 employee business, spending $500,000 a month in marketing. Yeah. That's how, if people just understood.
It came fast.
That's how fast it can come.
It came fast.
Okay. So what's the average person paying to get out of a timeshare? What is your profit?
About anywhere. So we offered 2 different services.
Sorry, what is your total revenue, and then how does the profit model break down?
Yeah, we had 2 different services for somebody that owned a timeshare outright,
Right.
where they had the note on it paid off.
Right.
It was a simple transfer of ownership.
Okay.
Okay. And then if they still owed paper on it, which
Yeah.
you can't go to a bank and get a loan for a timeshare.
Nope.
It's all in-house paper.
Yep.
So they securitize that and sell it on the back end.
Okay.
Interest rates on timeshare
How do
paper.
they secure it?
Well, interest rates on timeshare paper is between 11 and 21.9%.
So they just run an interest rate and then sell that paper.
Sell the paper.
Okay.
Okay. 65% of my business model was disrupting that paper.
Okay.
And when we started getting up to 650 clients a month,
You made some enemies.
we disrupted their model.
Yeah.
Bad. And we ran it for up until year 7 was my most profitable year in the business.
So this is 2016-ish.
Yeah, me and my wife, there was one other guy, partner in the business. Me and my wife controlled 67% of the business.
Okay.
My wife and I were netting $8 million a year.
Wow.
Netting, not grossing. We were netting $8 million a year.
Yeah, it's a fantastic business
It
model.
was a cash cow. And the crazy thing is when we say it all,
I'm always thinking like, I love that. I love that. And the reason is, so my mom has a timeshare, and I've been telling her, I'm like, I can get you out of that.
responsibleexit.com.
Yeah, and she's just like, well, I signed up for it. She wants to do the honest thing. I'm like, you don't even use it anymore. But I remember hearing those ads.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the only reason I didn't realize though how receptive people. So most people don't want to be in timeshares.
No. 1 out of 8 homeowners in the United States own a timeshare.
And how many out of those
100% of them want out.
really?
Yeah, dude. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time when you realize what you have is not worth the paper it's written on.
And who kind of cultivated? Was it the guy from Westgate that kind of cultivated the timeshare industry? Is that him, the guy who's building that fancy house in Florida?
Queen of Versailles. David Siegel.
David Siegel. Was he the one that kind of built this whole industry?
He was one of the pioneers of the industry. Yeah. The 2 companies that sued me were 2 of the largest in the world.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I had a working relationship with them for 7 years. And they sued me out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. Because like I said before, you're making a lot of enemies, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
They might be nicing you to death, but they're like, we're going to destroy this guy.
Well, we know today, I am 100% confident they knew we were getting ready to exit the business, and we were going to be the first exit company to exit to a private equity firm.
Okay. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Make sure you give us a 5-star review. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this podcast with a friend, and make sure that you schedule a call with me and my team. We have the Millionaire Mentorship Program. This is for newbie and advanced investors to get started investing in real estate. And if you're listening to this podcast right now, that's exactly what you want, right? You want to learn how to invest in real estate. It's changed my life. It can change your life. And we have a program that'll help you get your first or next investment property within the next 90 days, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash and you don't pay. Guess what else we're launching? We're launching a fund. And if you're interested, I'll include a link in my bio to this fund where you can actually invest with me on a lot of the properties that we're in. In fact, I'm in one of my properties right now in downtown Kansas City, in a building that I bought using my own money, but I started with just 1 property, and you can do the exact same thing that I did, but you got to get started. You got to take action. So whether you want to invest with me in my fund or whether you want to schedule a call with my team, both those links are in the bio. Enjoy the show. Give us a 5-star review. So at this point in time, you guys are making enough money and you've got somebody that's willing to buy you out.
Yep. Me and my wife, we actually, which is my dear friend today, his name's Don Weir. He's our financial advisor. Mm-hmm. We went to go get a mortgage at Bank of America for $7 million. Me and my wife were buying a home on the Intercoastal in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes. Love it.
And he goes, we were applying for the mortgage, and he was like, dude, what do you do? And I was like, I own a timeshare exit company. And he was like, have you ever thought about selling this? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, have you ever thought about selling your business? Mm-hmm. I had no clue you could sell a business.
Right.
And he goes, bro, I think you have something special here on your hands. So I was like, all right, tell me some more.
Right.
So he introduced us to a broker,
Business broker. Okay.
that sells businesses. And we go and we give them our model and they're like, oh, wow, you guys have something here. So we spent about a year structuring our business, getting our financials in order, the
Processes,
all the partnership agreement. Because at this point, we were doing, our entire business was on a handshake deal.
Yeah. I mean, you're just,
Legit.
you didn't realize you were going to scale that quick.
Yeah. And so they go, we get everything done. We get our financials done. They put the book together.
Right.
They send it out to over 300 private equity firms. I know the two companies that sued us got their hands on our book, but we had offers from 147 million to 97 million for 100% of the business.
So your lowest offer was 97
million.
And your highest
The
offer
highest for 147 bowed out. So it was an offer, but after they came and visited our facility, they ended up bowing out. Okay. The offer we actually ended up signing an LOI with was with a private equity firm that already acquired a debt consolidation company and a credit repair company.
Okay.
Because they were interested in our leads.
Right.
We dealt with timeshare owners that were credit card swipers.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So they could take that lead and sell it multiple times.
Okay.
So the LOI that we signed was for 54 million to sell 51%. And me and my wife still retained 49% of the business.
To run it.
They only wanted me on board for 2 years.
Okay.
To make sure the sales stayed stable.
Okay.
And then they were going to do another exit in 5 years. So it was going to be a 9-figure exit for us.
And you were going to get some of that action too.
100. I was going to get 49% of it.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, it was going to be a massive deal for us.
Okay.
So the private equity firm did all their due diligence. They visited our facility multiple times. They had their financial guys audit our books, everything. It was a done deal. We were literally waiting for our closing date. And 60 days before our closing date, I was flying into Chicago to go visit my family for Christmas.
Okay.
And when I'm on a plane, I don't get Wi-Fi. I sleep. Mm-hmm. So when the plane gets to that elevation where your phone gets service and your phone starts dinging, my phone blew up. And I was like, what the hell is going on Christmas Eve? And it was my lawyers and the broker saying, dude, you just got a lawsuit. And I was like, what does this mean? And he was like, well, we need to see if the private equity firm's willing to still buy you.
So first, you get a complaint. You were served with a complaint and summons. So you've got litigation from who?
A massive, again, part of my settlement. I can't say it, but they are the largest timeshare resort worldwide.
Okay.
And without dragging this story out, the first lawsuit, the private equity firm goes, we're good. Green light, go. Let's go to the closing table. 2 weeks later, carbon copy lawsuit from the same attorney. It was so carbon copy, they forgot to take the other timeshare developer's name out of some of the paperwork.
So attorney sees a paycheck.
Big time, dude. The industry, the timeshare industry, were trying to take our entire industry out because we were canceling their contracts. So we just so happened.
Enemy number one.
We were the big swinging dick on the block.
Yeah.
We were very loud, obnoxious. We were all over the radios.
Yeah.
Like we were everywhere. We were on billboards, TV, you name it. We were everywhere.
Yeah.
Like we were loud.
You don't realize how many people are actually watching.
Yeah, they all saw who we were. And private equity firm said, dude, we got to bow out. We're going to sit on the sidelines till this is done. And me and my wife ended up, unfortunately, because my insurance on the company wouldn't cover my lawsuit.
Yeah.
So now I'm fighting two multi-billion-dollar companies out of my own personal bank account. A trustee got appointed to my company. I filed a Chapter 11 on the company.
That quick.
Dude, I didn't know what to do. Yeah. I was spooked, bro.
Yeah.
Like I had gotten myself in a position. I had no clue I had no clue how I got at the table I was sitting at.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally logical. I mean, like you don't go, I mean, a few years ago, you're in a room by yourself with sheets on top of yourself. Next thing you're doing a
multi-million dollar deal. And now I'm being sued to be taken out.
Yeah, and for those of you guys who haven't been sued, like the first time, it's like, okay, you're scared out of your pants, and then so it's a big deal. Like, and I've never had insurance on in a lawsuit, so I understand that money that can come. So
this one cost us $7 million.
Yeah, that's what the point is.
$7 million, and I had no income because I had to stand in front of 100 and some people at that point in my cafeteria and let them all go at once.
Wow. So it went from...
It happened like that.
Wow. Okay. So
it was rough.
Yeah, that's rough, man. I'm sorry to see that happen to you. I mean, especially like when you're so close.
So I almost got the Super Bowl or the entrepreneur ring, dude.
Yeah, you're freaking the San Francisco 49ers before the Chiefs come and take that championship. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you could get there again. Because you got there once before.
So that attorney that was suing us, I remember the day I just got done with an 8-hour deposition. They whooped my ass, dude. They were trying to drag me through the mud.
Yeah.
Questioning my integrity, my morals, everything.
I've been through plenty of them.
Yeah. And after 8, I was sitting at the end of this table, dude, just smoked. And I remember the attorney, he had this beet red face. His eyes were bloodshot. He had to have been a drunk. He couldn't have loved what he was doing. He couldn't have. Because he knew he was messing with some good people. He really did.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sitting there and he goes, hey, kid. He was an older dude. And I look up at him and he goes, if you can make it through this, you can make it through anything. And I was like, bro, you don't even know what I've been through.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, it's fucking go time again. Went back.
He sparked you.
Dude.
He didn't. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, it happened.
He just screwed it up. Okay.
Went home that night, and I remember telling my wife, I said, Shyla, let's give them whatever they want. I said, if we got to go back to zero, let's go back to zero. Because me and my wife's relationship was on the rocks now. Like, we were going through hell, dude.
Listen, anytime I had to stay in Nevada when I had a towing company try to come after me because the competitors had them juiced up.
Yep.
And, and my wife was like, just get rid of it. And I'm like, I don't have the will to stop fighting. And
I was in that same position.
Yeah. And she was just like, and so I kept fighting. And then I realized I'm just fighting to fight now. And like, even if I win, I lose.
You lose.
And so, eventually that fight, it's like the fight, the will to fight is not dead.
Yep.
But you're looking at, why am I fighting?
Yep.
Just to win.
I had to take my energy and put it somewhere else. And Shyla and I agreed. We're like, let's settle.
Yeah.
And thank God, like the restart this time, like after we settled everything, me and my wife, we walked away with some millions. Thank God.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because the way you're protecting the language, you must have gotten paid.
Well, we had in the state of Florida, there is a what is it on? You put it on your home. Homestead. Yes. And me and my wife just so happened to own a $7 million home that we had millions of dollars in.
Yes.
They couldn't touch it.
Yes. The old O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then we had a couple accounts structured that couldn't be pierced. And when we settled everything, we walked. And I remember I was looking at a couple, and then this is leading into the wholesale industry.
So this is around 2016?
We settled in 2021.
Okay, so 2000.
Not long ago, dude.
No, yeah, listen, I moved out here in 2021. Yeah. And so you've been, but I mean, let me just, this is great so far. I've really enjoyed our conversation. So, because it's been so fluid and you're such a good storyteller. So Eric, so now having this massive success, now you got self-belief.
Well, after that all happened, I did have the doubt of, did I get lucky that time?
Right.
I did. And there was a small period of time where I was like, man, did I really contribute enough to that business where I did that? Was it my, can I do it all over again?
Was it me or did I just get lucky?
Yeah. Like and my wife has been my biggest cheerleader since the day I met her.
Always. And Danny, Danny right here, one of the first things he told me when I hired him, I said, what's your biggest weakness? I always ask everybody the same question. 3 biggest strengths, 3 biggest weaknesses. He goes, my girl's got me wrapped around my finger. And then as, he's gotten a little bit more, I guess, open.
Yeah.
He's like, well, if I didn't have her, I'd be here. You know what I mean? And I think that just goes, and everybody I talk to who's successful, they understand that.
Dude, she's a beast.
Yeah, if you got a beast of a wife, you're going to be a beast. A bigger beast.
100%.
Because we're all little boys chasing fucking rainbows and 100%, flowers and bro. Disorganized. And,
like I wouldn't be here today if she didn't have my itinerary, like literally exactly what I was going to do.
Yeah, I feel you.
So,
100%.
But I remember her telling me, she was like, I was a little bummed for a while. And she goes, Eric, you need to get your ass up and you need to figure it out. Right? Straight up.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
She knows how to talk to you.
Yeah. What are we going to do? I was looking at a couple different industries. These guys keep telling me about the wholesale space and they're like, Eric, it was the same model you were doing, just a different lead. I was dealing with distressed timeshare owners.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I can generate leads. I have my own custom software, like CRM. Like I have all the pieces. I just need another lead to drop in it. And, I made the decision.
Just selling.
It's selling, bro. I still today don't say I'm in real estate.
Yeah.
I'm not in real estate really, dude. I sold all my rental properties. I fucking hate flipping houses, all that shit. Like I flip shit tons of contracts.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Well, I'm the guy who loves buying real estate. I don't mind flipping contracts. So,
Yeah. I know at some point, like this point in my life, like I'd rather put my money into building other businesses that I have going on because I'm getting a great return on them.
Yeah.
Like that's just where I'm at in my life. At some point, I might have a big ass portfolio. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just not there yet. Right.
Yeah. If I can offer any, I grew up piss broke, and I didn't have a bad childhood. I didn't have a great childhood, but I can tell you that, I grew up through the hard knocks of real estate. And the one thing that I really think that, like, if you're going to make a massive amount of income, just to invest in real estate to not pay the taxes is a reason enough of its own, especially like for you having an SBA loan, getting the 10% down and then being able to buy the building and then offset that and get like this building. We bought this building, $5.2 million.
You own the building.
I own the building.
Love it.
So now it's losing $50,000 a month right now because we're not occupied at full capacity and there's utilities and all those things. I knew I was going to burn on this one.
Yeah.
But I worked my way up. It's not like I went from the first property I bought to this one. It's like I have 200 single family houses.
Do you really?
And then I have this one and then I have this one. And so the reason I say that is because it took me a long time to figure out the game. Like I wholesaled in 2013. That's when I started wholesaling. And now we're teaching guys how to wholesale, but I had to it's changed so much since then with the novations and the this, and everybody's out on the thing. My point in that is if you're paying any federal income taxes, please
buy some real estate.
Please buy some real estate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you won't have to pay any taxes.
100%.
Zeroed out.
Yeah.
I know people hate the fucking and landlording's not easy.
Yeah. I didn't like it.
It's not fun.
Like I think last year, the year before, we bought like 8, 9, 10 homes. We were going to Airbnb one in the mountain and all this stuff.
Yeah,
like it all sounded good.
Well, Airbnb, number one, it's highly management intensive.
Yeah.
You should just be buying, like with the income that you're making, you should either be buying big old buildings that you can put your people in and then like rent it out the other side and have that pay for it and then bring your tax. Because I'm sure you're running call centers still based on what I saw.
Yeah. So I have my biggest call center is actually over in Pakistan.
Oh boy, God, this might go a while. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's one of my most.
So we're heading to Panama in 3 weeks to go try to build ours out.
I have.
Because I don't want to fly to Pakistan.
I have a 10,000 square foot office in Pakistan.
How many callers?
We right now have 250.
250. What are you paying those guys? $3 an hour?
I charge $6 an hour for my callers.
That's pretty much standard.
Yep.
They're
all trained by our facility that we just moved into. My partner just so happens to live in Atlanta.
Okay.
but his family is from Pakistan.
Cool. So direct flight from Pakistan to Atlanta, number one airport hub in the world.
Yeah. And it's growing like wildfire. It's growing faster than we ever thought it would, to the point we had to move into a bigger office. And we're anticipating in 12 months, the office we're moving into isn't going to cut it for us. We're signing up 40 to 60 brand new callers a month. It's fucking booming.
You know why that is? Because nobody wants to work here for that job anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. And you couldn't afford.
That's
You'd price yourself out of.
Yeah. Well, there's two things. So as a guy who's run call centers for years, like my own small ones, you know, 5, 6 people at the tops.
Yeah.
But you know, you started with your, like what you're talking about, those people fresh out on the bus stop people, you know, and they're going to last for a little bit, not super duper reliable. But what I have found out is that if you're going to Pakistan or you're going to other countries, you're getting the top talent in that country, doctors, lawyers, bankers, CEOs, for the worst talent we get in the U.S., half price, a quarter price of that.
100%. It's labor arbitrage at its best.
Yeah, and the big companies figured this out a long time ago.
And we treat our people good. Dude, we have 2 full-time English teachers in our building. We have drivers bringing the women to and from their houses. We cater lunches every single day.
So the work environment is like outstanding.
Yeah, we're tricking out our brand new office right now.
So how'd you start it? Because so let's go into the wholesale and then we'll circle back to this.
Wholesaling, man. Listen, at the end of the day, I knew what I was doing when I came in here. People don't ask me about my first deal because I don't know it.
Okay.
I burn and turn contracts.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I have $3 million in my pipeline right now. We'll probably we'll fund on 400,000+ this month. We do volume. I do volume. I don't know addresses. For me, it's
I get it. I understand.
That's what
It's the same thing as slinging the paper on the
100%.
You probably don't know the timeshare person.
No. And for me, it was sales and marketing.
Yep. That's all it is.
My first 12 months in the space, I did $2.6 million. I netted 1.5.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, cool. I can scale this thing.
Yeah.
And right now I have it, the business, I have a full office in Raleigh, North Carolina. I've stabilized it. We'll probably do about $5.5 million this year in assignment fees.
So what happens in Raleigh?
I have acquisitions, dispositions, TC, closing coordinator. I have five closers, 4 dispositions, a full-time girl that lists stuff on the flat fee MLS for us.
I love the flat fee. Congress, freedom.
Yep. We do right now. I think we're at 2.6 contracts a day. I signed 2 contracts on the way over here.
That's fast.
I think we're at full.
It's all inbound.
100% inbound.
Okay.
From my call center.
All right. Okay. All inbound via outbound. Okay.
Yeah.
So, because I've always been an outbound guy, and it's been so hard. We're having a couple guys that you probably know in the space talk about PPC and this and that and the other thing. But I was always like, let's go get it.
Dude, I do PPC, but cold calling's been a 10x return for me since I started.
And what's your PPC?
4.7.
Okay, so it's way better for the
crush it.
So what about your list? What kind of lists are you pulling?
Yep. Bread and butter is absentee owner data. Home values 350,000 and under. Equity 20 to 100%. I pull all the major markets, metropolitan, and an hour outside of them.
So you guys basically use PropStream.
We now have at my call. I actually sell data now.
Okay.
I have 20 agents sourcing data all day long, 6 days a week.
So you're building out your own data.
100%.
Which skip tracing platform are you using? Kind to load them in there? Are you using TLO?
None of them. We do it all at my call center.
Okay, so break that down for me.
Yep. Break what down?
Like, how are you doing it? Like, are you skip so? Are they individually skip tracing them? Are you using like a bulk skip tracing?
Bulk skip tracing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, how did this whole call center develop? Like, how did that whole situation get there?
Yeah. So I am somebody in the wholesaling space that's very loud and obnoxious. I show my numbers. I like calling people out without saying their names and all that. Like, that's just kind of the stance I've taken.
Who have you called out without saying their name?
All of them.
Are there some fakes out there, you're saying?
I am disgusted by this industry.
Yeah.
Disgusted.
Yeah.
I went and spoke at guys' events that have asked me to fly out, and I did. And I was in a room full of probably 40 to 50 people.
I think we'd love to have you come out to our event. We pay for our like podcasts. I never expected it, but we always take care of our people when they come out.
There was a guy that I thought I respected.
Yeah.
And he stood in front of a room full of about 50 people. And he's been on some pretty big stages and shit like that. And this has happened multiple times.
Nothing surprises me what you're saying right now.
But it's happened multiple times, and that's why I told my wife was like, Eric, you're probably not going to make a lot of friends in this industry. And I said, I don't give a shit. I'll make my own stage.
Yeah.
I said I refuse to get on these types of stages.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a hard way for me to build my brand, but I'm building a loyal following, and people respect what I'm doing. What I was getting at is there was a guy standing in front of 40 people, and he was talking about doing 20 to 30 deals a month.
Yeah.
And he had his partner sitting in the back. And I was sitting back there, and he was like 20, 30 deals a month, X amount of dollars. And his partner looks at me and he goes, I can't keep up with this guy's lies. He's like, because after he's done saying all that, these people come up to me and ask me how many closers, how many leads. And he goes, we ain't doing a deal. And I was like, I looked at my wife and I said, I won't show up to shit like this no more. I was like, I won't put my name on this. I won't attach my brand to it. The guy, I couldn't believe it because I believed him.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because I'm the same way. We're a lot in common besides the past.
Yeah.
But like, I usually just take people at face value. Like, why would you go on the internet and lie?
I couldn't believe
Like,
it. It's scamming.
No, it's not even that, but it's like, it's so easy to trace it back.
But it's not easy for your average guy that don't know how to trace it back.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I won't say names either, but I might say a few things. But like, you guys got a guy in Florida there, you know?
I don't know, dude. I don't even know.
You know some of those influencers.
Yeah.
Like guys maybe who have yachts.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I mean, I've done the math. I'm like, dude, there ain't no way.
Yeah.
Like, I know, you know what it takes to scale rental property wise.
Yeah.
To go from 0 to 700 is like, I'm at 350 and I've been going hard.
Yeah.
So you know who I'm talking about.
Now I do. And I just recently came across him, I think.
And I can't say for sure.
Yeah.
I could just say I've been asked by a bunch of people and I'm like, if it sounds too good to be true.
So where do you do it? All over the U.S. or do you have certain markets?
So let me tell you exactly where we're at right now. So when I came to, in 2017, we just figured this out the other day. I had identified that where I was at in Vegas. So I had just started kind of slow, I guess I would say. Like I didn't do my first wholesale deal until 2013. Or my first flip into 2013, my first wholesale into 2013.
Okay.
And so I always kept it small, 3 or 4 callers like that. I never tried to scale. This has only become big in the last 3 or 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we moved here, all of my acquisitions went away. In fact, I gave my buddy who does $4 million a year. He's one of probably the top wholesalers, like legit, all self-sourced, no anything, Casey Ryan. I gave him my callers. I'm like, I'm moving to Kansas City. And then I had bought 100 houses. So I had to keep myself occupied for the first little bit here, getting all, because everything we bought was a shithole.
Right.
And then we bought a 31 unit apartment building, and then we bought this. And so we are just now starting to build our acquisitions department again.
Got it.
Danny is helping me build out my street team. And we're a little bit more aggressive, and I don't want to go nationwide right now.
I'm not nationwide.
Yeah, so I will probably go hardcore Midwest. I believe in this market out here a lot, and probably go where I'm also active in Mississippi. But I've been at it so long that I have enough flips going on at any point in time, and I've never been a big wholesaler.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I did that in the past. It was the way to get to the future. I've been a big rental buyer.
Got it.
Okay, always a big rental buyer. So I've stacked it one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. So where we're at right now is basically we're building our street team, and I'm working with my students and Danny and some of the other guys to build in the acquisitions and build out the CRM. So we have Go High Level. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that platform, but that's what we use. And I feel like from launching the coaching program, that's the other thing, is that took me my last 2 years. I'd never done a coaching program before. So when I got into the coaching program, I'm like, okay, I probably should work on my acquisitions again so that I can have more deals flowing and more like that. It's not that I need to, because honestly, flipping houses for me is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I like to prefer to buy rentals.
Yeah.
But if I'm teaching it, I got to be active in it and doing it too.
Yeah.
So I'm still not going to go. I know that I can do $300,000-$400,000 a month with probably 4 to 6 people.
Got it.
And one transaction coordinators. Because just to let you know why I know that is, I sold 2,200 homes in 5 years as an agent.
Love it.
You're just slinging paper. That's all
it.
agency is, right?
it.
Once you get, and it's way quicker because when you talk about listing, I know how to list. I sold 2,200 homes in 5 years, 3,000 homes at my whole license time.
Yep.
So I know how to do 80 plus transactions, 90 plus transactions in a month with 2 transaction coordinators, and one of them still here. She's been working with me for 17 years.
Love it.
So for me, my goals are completely different. My goals are actually, Eric, to continue to do more projects like this and raise capital from all the digital marketing techniques that I've used and to do bigger projects. I don't want to be my ego wants to compete with all you guys who are doing major numbers.
Yeah.
But I don't need to do that. I have a different purpose. I want to build shit. I want to do really cool stuff. Like for me to do, say I did another 100 wholesale deals or another 200 flips, I'm not going to learn anything that I don't already know.
Right.
But this building is teaching me a ton.
Of course, yeah.
The next one's going to teach me a ton. And I enjoy the learning process. So I hope that helps.
Of course,
tell you about where I'm at. But Danny will tell you, I still enjoy the freaking close.
Yeah.
Like I like getting in front of the sellers. We door knock on foreclosures.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Love it.
Danny's doing the door knocking, but I don't have any problem showing him how to do that, and then I'll close it.
Yeah.
So for me, that keeps me sharp.
Of course.
And
my motto is stop knocking for dollars and dial in for millions.
Yeah.
Because my whole virtual sales thing.
I think I think we have tried to build out the VA system. And I'd love to talk to you more about that. I've got a guy who's speaking at one of my events who's also got a lot of guys are in the wholesaling space are moving into we're going to give you your VA space. That's why I'm headed into Panama, because I've tried working with other people and I'm just like, I probably need to build this thing on my own.
Yeah.
And so and the reason I picked Panama, because I really was going to go Egypt or Pakistan, because I have Pakistan VAs right now, but I like going to South America. I don't have a desire to go to Pakistan.
So you guys are going to get a brick and mortar office.
If we have to.
Yeah.
If we have to, we will for sure. And Panama has got great rules. It's where all the CIA launders money and stuff like that. And, it's all the big drug trade. So you have huge, massive buildings all around there. You're close. You have the most direct flights it's like Atlanta. You have the most direct flights into Panama, and then you're close to Colombia. You're close to Brazil. You're close to El Salvador, Nicaragua, Mexico, all of these places. And I don't want to go to freaking Egypt.
Yeah.
Pakistan, and it's the same same money. And arguably, I need people that speak Spanish versus people that speak Arabic or Urdu or whatever the hell they're speaking.
I agree.
So I think there's more talent in Egypt.
Yeah.
Because they just disbanded a bunch of call centers out there. Pakistan, that accent's a little bit tough. I know you guys are working on that.
But you can pay a little bit more to get the good English.
Yeah, no, I think that model's solid. I went to Collective Genius a couple weeks ago or a month ago, and there were so many guys there. They're like, I got my own call center company, and I was like, okay.
But a lot of these guys are just white labeling shit.
Are they?
100%. They don't own.
Explain what a white label is for those who don't understand.
Yeah, you come to me and you're like, hey man, let's work out a deal. I'll give you a mid-X. You go and sell it at whatever price you want.
Yeah, so yours is 6. I say, hey, you're getting it for 3. I'll do it for $4.50.
Bam.
You get $1.50. I get $1.50.
The name of my company is Run It Remote. That is the name of our call center, right? But you would white label it as ABC Call Center.
Millionaire Mentorship Call Center.
There you go.
There we go.
And people, you now tell everyone you have a call center. Well, you really don't. You're just leveraging my call center.
Yeah.
Most these guys out there that say they own a call center do not own a call center. And I know that for certain.
I would believe that.
I own a real call center. My name's on the lease. My name's on the company. I have a bank
How many times
account
you been to Pakistan?
Me? 0.
Oh, cool.
My partner goes multiple times a year. I am going for the first time.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's going to be cool, though.
Yeah, I can't wait,
Do you
dude.
like to travel?
I don't like traveling out of the United States, dude.
Why?
I don't know. My wife says the same shit.
You got to.
I get it.
I promise you, we have a Pakistani guy who's been on our calls for like the last year and stuff. They're really nice people.
I love everyone.
It's cheap as shit to go out there. I mean, when you start traveling abroad, you realize how much money we're paying over here. We could be living like kings other places.
I know.
So that's awesome. So is that kind of are you trying to transition out of the wholesaling and more into providing callers?
So wholesaling is my least profitable business.
Why?
I make over $1 million a year wholesaling.
Okay.
Like last year, over $1.5 million.
Okay.
But it's my least profitable.
And it's a lot of fucking work.
And I spend most of my time on it.
Yeah.
Thank God we've gotten it to a point where we brought in a manager that manages everything we've put in place.
Yeah.
I'm really good at teaching people how to get this thing systematized. So I started about a year ago helping people out. If you want to call it coaching. And just by accident, and when I say by accident, I didn't spend $1 on ads. I didn't do anything. It was through my sales coaching and masterminds at my office. I did over $2 million in coaching.
Wow.
Without a single dollar spent on advertisement.
That's pretty impressive.
Me and my wife were like...
I don't have those same numbers on my first go round.
It was over $2 million.
That's awesome.
And me and my wife were like, all right, listen, there's something here. Mm-hmm. You're not doing a whole lot of work over there, but you're making the most money. And then our call center is a 7-figure a year business. And I spend 5% of my time on it.
Yeah, that's the one that's the one you just keep leaning into.
And the call center, I believe, is a sellable business.
Totally it is. And the wholesaling business is not a sellable business.
I thought it, so when I first stepped into it, my mindset coming into the wholesale industry was, I'm gonna do it all over again and I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
I was going to all these masterminds and I was like, watch, I'll be the first one to exit a wholesale company. That was my train of thought coming into this space.
Yeah, you already tasted it. You wanted to taste it again. 3
years, because I'm just now coming up on 3 years of being in this space.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think selling this is, put it this way. I don't want to say I couldn't, but man, it's going to be a lot of work to try and sell one of these things.
And the asset is attached to the call center.
100%.
Like, and it's just, I think your best thing is to do it as far as law, and the laws are changing too, and there's a lot of different things changing. It sounds like you're very capable of reinventing yourself, Eric. So
yes, I'm good to go, man.
And for those, I think I've heard a bunch of influencers say this online, is saying like, if you don't have anything to do and you're trying to figure out a way to make money, get into sales. That's the first thing that you did.
It's changed my life.
First thing that I did. When I sold radio advertising.
I love it.
An immeasurable result.
Yep.
I had to walk into all these car dealerships and this and that. They didn't want to see me. They didn't make an appointment with me. Didn't want nothing I had to sell.
Yeah, I love it.
But you build those relationships instantly. Yep. And people see how tenacious you are, like you are, tenacity.
Yep.
They admire those traits, and then they buy you.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, so that's cool, man. So let's talk about like what's next for you and like your life, everything like that. I mean, you've got. I feel like you're reborn, like 15 years ago, right? And
I'm on fire again.
Yeah, you're on fire again. So where do you see your life headed? Good
question. So I closed on a house in Paradise Valley in 30 days, which is Scottsdale, pretty much right next to Scottsdale. I was out there. I've been in Raleigh, North Carolina for 3 years. The reason we wound up in Raleigh, North Carolina, me and my wife were at the tail end of that lawsuit, and I needed out of South Florida.
Okay.
Like I needed a fresh slate. We moved to Raleigh, North Carolina. I started the wholesale company there.
Yeah.
And it's been an amazing experience. We've built something awesome. We have a great team. And it's what I needed in my life. I needed to get away from all the noise to where I could focus again and get in build mode and really find out like who I was. Because I lost my identity losing that business. So I thought. So I found.
Can you explore on that? Because I don't think a lot of people understand. I said the same thing. Like, well, I didn't say I lost my identity, but when I gave away my real estate license, I got my new identity.
Yeah, man.
Because my identity was an agent.
Dude,
and I was like, wait, I'm an investor.
When I lost that business, everyone knew me as the timeshare exit guy.
Yeah.
Like legitimate.
Yeah.
And when I went from having this big old call center in South Florida that everyone knew about. And when I didn't have it, I was like, God damn, who am I really? At that point, man,
it's ego, right?
100%. Back then when I was getting ready to exit, dude, me and Grant Cardone were like this.
Okay.
He was calling me saying, hey, come down and talk to my guys at my sales boot camps. He would have his camera crew come out to my office, do a skit on me and put me on the 10X stages. When it seemed like it all went away overnight. And I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? I needed to go find out. And that's what Raleigh did for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know me and my wife knew nobody there.
That was our Kansas City. It sounds like Raleigh was my Kansas City.
It was. Yeah. And I am now, I proved to myself I could build another multi-million-dollar business. And
anywhere.
In literally 12 months, I did it.
Anywhere.
Without knowing anybody, right?
Yeah.
And I built my call center, another 7-figure business within 12 months. My coaching business. And I'm like, man, I'm finding out who I am for the first time. And what I have found is my skill set is virtual sales, leadership, and building teams.
Yeah.
And I went out and me and Andy Elliott, I sat down with him like this, did a podcast with him. The conversation went a little bit further, and him and I are going to be collaborating for the next 12 months. And he was like, man, you're in Raleigh, North Carolina. This works a lot better if you're in Scottsdale.
I had a feeling that might have something to do with it. It seems, when I saw the Elliott shirt on the son, and then you're talking about that, it seems like you guys, and you saw how much you put into your son. Like, why wouldn't you want to be around?
Yeah. And Robert Winsley, Investor Lift?
Yes, I met him at the
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I flew out there with my wife and son a few weeks ago. And my wife was sitting on a couch. We were at Robert Winsley's getting ready to do a podcast. Robert looks at my wife and she goes, Shyla, you're not going to like what I'm getting ready to say. She goes, what, Robert? She goes, your husband needs to be here. And Shyla did not say,
Yeah.
She didn't say anything. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Here's my chance.
I'm like,
let's go.
The door's cracked.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So I paid attention to that.
Yeah.
We were there for 4 days. The deals I was able to make, the hands I was able to shake, and the podcast and networking I was able to do in 4 days.
Sold it.
I couldn't have possibly have done it where I lived.
Yeah.
And my wife saw that. And by the end of that 4 days, we had made the decision we were moving.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I mean, I think that's a smart move. And if I look at Scottsdale or Phoenix, that whole area, there's a lot of guys doing, like, you got Pace down there, you got Andy down there, Robert Kiyosaki's down there, Tom Wheelwright's down there. I mean,
Cody Sperber, Grant Cardone has an office down there. Like, Brad Lee's moving there.
Oh, yeah. He's getting out of Vegas.
Yeah, he's moving to Arizona.
Vegas is interesting. I mean, it's getting so violent. I started my neighborhood chat through WhatsApp, and like, we're in a gated community nice there. There's like SWAT in there yesterday. It's just getting so nasty over in Vegas. But I really appreciate you sharing your journey so far. What I want to kind of share with the audience right now is, like, what would you tell somebody who's listening right now that maybe doesn't believe in themselves? Because you've been so vulnerable, and I don't think people can really identify when they're like, oh man, well, I haven't been down on my luck on crack, or I haven't done this, or I haven't done that. But like, there's some self-doubt, because we know from doing our survey here is that number 2 reasons people don't take action. Number 1 is fear of losing money.
Of course.
And number 2 is fear of themselves.
Yep.
What would you tell somebody who might be thinking that right now to, like, get started doing something else?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I always just relate it to myself, right? And a lot of the shit that I say may just be real simple, is where your feet are today, they don't have to be there tomorrow. They don't. And good. Your life that you are in right now is always going to be there. Like, the job, I always tell everybody, sales has changed my life.
Right.
Sales, I know today I am recession proof.
Yes.
I truly say that with confidence. I'm recession proof, because if the economy's good, people are buying shit because they got money when the economy's bad. They're buying or selling shit because they're trying to make themselves feel good or get money.
Yep.
And so anybody that doesn't believe in themselves, man, one thing that's really worked for me is I write on my bathroom mirrors with dry eraser markers until I started believing what I was writing.
So you're doing affirmations.
Literally on my bathroom mirror right now at home, I have, you're an amazing person. You're successful. I have dollar figures up there. And I've been doing that for 14 years. The biggest sale you're ever going to make in your life is selling yourself that you can do it. And the only way you can make that sale is get around people that believe in you.
Yeah, I think that's very, very fucking powerful there, because, you know, when you think about affirmations, you go back to the Stuart Smalley from SNL. It's like, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Yes.
But the reality is the tape that's being played in your head is so negative.
Yep.
And it's based on past events, not future events. 100%. And there's a guy named Dr. Joe Dispenza, who actually was a chiropractor. And he's got a great book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And what he talks about is exactly what you're saying there is, rather than talk about what did happen, program what is going to happen. It's almost called like habit stacking or habit changing, because we all have habits. Like you might get up in the morning, take a piss, get on the phone, drink a cup of coffee, whatever that is. It's like, why not go and read those affirmations to yourself about who you're going to be? Like I did a little bit of the Andy Elliott today because I was on the Peloton. And I know, he calls out those people. He's like, take off your shirt.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
yeah,
fuck
dude.
you. That's what they're really thinking. Like, I hope you don't call on me.
100%.
But I did that. I was like, you know what? I think I'm doing good on the Peloton. And I'm like, I'm not doing good. You know what I mean? But why focus on the path and the journey and
100%.
like what you're trying to become, not on who you're at right now, right?
Yep.
Because when you were in 2009 with $8 in your pocket, slammed a pint of vodka to get on the train, you are not who you are right now.
No, man.
But you are. It's the same guy.
Same guy. This has changed a lot.
Mindset is everything.
It's everything. Dude, I still, in my bedrooms, my wife has always had a massive mirror in our bedrooms. Dude,
I like her.
Yeah. Dude,
I know what that's about.
I stand in front of that thing. People would think I'm out of my mind, but I'll stand in front of that mirror and I get my son to do it sometimes. And I'm like, you're the fucking man, dude. Like, you're going to go crush the day. Like, because if I don't believe it, I ain't going to get anyone else to believe it.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? So like I always say, the biggest sale I've ever made, and I got to continue to close that deal
every day.
I can do whatever I'm trying. Like, I'm getting real uncomfortable right now in this transition in my life.
Yeah.
Because I got comfortable in Raleigh because I was the big swinging dick. My circle of friends, I made the most money. I drove the nicest cars. I had the nicest house. All of that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you're about ready to be.
I want to be. I read my wife sent me a quote the other day and she goes, if what was it? Something about something about your circle.
You're the sum of the 5 people closest to you.
Yeah, but it was something about if it's not a circle, it's a cage. Like, if the people around you in your circle aren't pushing you, doing better than all this stuff, you aren't in a circle, you're in a cage. And that's where I ultimately feel I am in Raleigh. I don't dislike Raleigh.
No.
I dislike where I'm at.
I don't even think it's that. I feel like you need to be there because all the people that you feel like you could grow the fastest
100%,
with are there.
Man.
And it's just like anything. It's like when I was drinking, I hung out at the bar.
Yep.
That's where I wanted to be.
Yep.
You know, for me, Kansas City wasn't a plan, but I saw opportunity. I think you just see opportunity.
100% I do. And I'm going.
Yeah. And if you see opportunity and you don't jump on it, guess what?
Yep.
You're going to think about that for the next 3 freaking years, watching these guys do their thing.
Yep.
And going, I could have done it. And because the worst case is you go back.
100%. Raleigh ain't going nowhere.
Listen, Vegas wasn't going nowhere. Seattle wasn't going nowhere. Every time I made a move and got uncomfortable,
Yep.
it sucked for a little bit.
Yep.
And then things started to change.
And that's where I'm at. I got those nervous butterfly feelings. Yeah. And I even told my wife, I was like, this is exactly how I got to feel. I'm growing right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm growing.
Yeah. Well, I think you know, I heard Mike Tyson say this the other day, and it was so profound. He said, anything I'm afraid of, I do. And I was like, I don't. Like, I was thinking, I was like, no, I like, he's like, if I'm afraid of it, I do. Because they're like, you know, you were known as one of the toughest, most feared opponents. He's like, how was he? He goes, I was scared shitless. He goes, but if I'm afraid of it, I'm going to do it. He goes, that's why I'm fighting Jake Paul, because I'm afraid of losing.
I love it.
You know what I mean? And so, man, it's been a absolute delight having you on. I'm so, like, you're the first guy to ever fly out here and, like, you know, on your own and say, like, hey, and I just, at first I was a little bit taken back. I'm like, that's cool. I've never had anybody do that. Like, he just wants to come. I'm like, let's do it. And he's just coming for the podcast.
Yep.
And so I just want to say thank you, number one. And I think that your story is so genuine and impactful that I just hope for your success to continue to go and affect so many people's lives. Because that's the other thing that people don't talk about. Like, sure, you're doing great, but how many people have you helped along the way? Or how many families are you feeding right now because you decided to go out and get uncomfortable?
Yep. Not enough.
Not enough. Better answer.
Not enough.
Awesome, man. Anything else you want to say?
That's it, man. I appreciate you having me out.
How do you follow Eric Cline?
The Eric Cline on Instagram. Eric, ERIC CLINE.
So no YouTube, no TikTok.
I'm on all of them.
It's the Eric Cline, though.
The Eric Cline. CLINE for Klein. Not with a K, it's with a C.
Okay. How do they get, if they want to get some virtual callers, how do they hook up with you?
DM me.
Cool.
Yeah, DM me on Instagram. I'll either with someone on my team or I'll personally reach out to you.
Awesome, man.
Yeah,
I think that's funny. I think the Instagram it should be used by the guys I talk to. They're like, yeah, I work my Instagram all the time.
Yeah.
It's like one of the best sales techniques.
Yeah. I literally last year, when I say it, I did through DMs and stories, I did $2 million, bro.
Working the Instagram.
The money's in the DMs.
It is in the DMs. The money is in the DMs. That's true. You want to run paid ads, or you can answer your DMs.
Or answer your DMs. Show them there's a real human.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, peace. So I wanted to interrupt you in this podcast and just take a quick moment to tell you two things. Number one, we do this for free for you. I haven't made a nickel on social media at all. I'm doing this to provide you enough value. So all I'm asking for you to do is share it and give us a 5-star review. It'll totally help us out, and I really appreciate it. The other thing, if you want more free resources like our free Facebook group, it's Millionaire Mentorship, Real Estate Investing on Facebook. All you gotta do is join it. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, and there's lots of resources there, and we'll definitely give you those for free, no charge. Here's the other thing. If you're serious about investing in real estate and you're ready to take action, I have a program. No matter where you're at in your real estate journey, I can help you out. I don't care if you've got 5 houses, 10 houses, no houses, 100 houses. I've got something that I can share with you that's going to make you a lot of money. And if you want to become financially free and you're brand new to real estate investing, this is the absolute thing you want to do. And here's the thing. What I've learned from most of my students right now is that it's not just an investing program. It's a mindset program. We're going to change the way you think about money. If you want to start investing, make sure you schedule a call with me and my team, and let's get the ball rolling. Guess what else? If you are like, man, I don't got the time and I make tons of money, I just enjoy listening to what you're going to say, that's cool too. We actually have set up a fund where you can invest with us, but you got to be an accredited investor. If you want to find out what that looks like, all you got to do is click the link in my bio, fill out the form. It takes you about 2 seconds, and then we'll let you know about the deals that we're doing. We're doing big deals in Kansas City. And this year, I think we'll do 2 huge deals in Kansas City. I'm looking at a few right now, and I want you to be a part of it. And if you've got more money than time, then that's what you should do. If you got more time than money, then schedule a call with me and my team, and we'll get you into our coaching program so that you can have more money than time.